Andrew.
Hi, how's it going, Ashley?
Ashley. Nice to meet with you today. I'm happy I got to meet with you in person.
Mhm.
My family is traveling to Yellowstone this week, so it just worked out perfect.
Yeah, it's
We could
pretty
stop by.
convenient.
Yeah. Do you get to? You live in Rexburg? Do you live right
Yeah,
in
I do
town?
live in Rexburg,
Okay.
but I don't make my way out there very much.
Okay.
So
Have you been there at all? We've
you know,
never been there before, so
yeah,
I
so
don't really
it's been a
know.
long time.
Okay.
Growing up as a kid, got to go out there a lot. So,
Okay. You've
but
been living in Rexburg for a while. Okay.
yeah, grew up here. It's been pretty exciting, small
That is
little town of
exciting.
Rexburg.
Yeah. Well, I've heard great things, but it's my
Okay.
first time being here.
Yeah,
So.
where are you from?
I'm from California.
Okay, that's a
Born and
nice
raised, so,
place.
yeah. Sunshine State, it's great. um, so you work with Monkey Bar Storage. Have you been working there for a while?
Yeah, so I'm actually one of the co-founders of the
Okay.
place. And so we've been open since the early 2000s.
Oh, awesome.
And so it's been quite the journey,
Mhm.
building up the business and making it like functional.
How's that been? Like, what's the story behind
You know,
Monkey Bar Storage?
no, that's a great question. Just kind of like start with an idea. Me and like one of my buddies, we got together and we're like, like this could be a good opportunity to just start building storage units or storage like capability shelving units, and making it just a business of our own. We're both wanting to be entrepreneurs, and this somehow started working out for us, and
Oh, cool.
hit the big times, and here we are.
Here you are. That's great.
Staying in Rexburg though.
So how big is your business now?
Yeah, so we've got about 10 places right now,
Okay.
and we're wanting to kind of expand to going ahead and being not just like within a couple states, but being not internationally quite yet, but within the United States, just all over.
What states are you in right now?
Currently, Idaho, Utah, Montana, just kind of like surrounding states of Idaho right now.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. That's really quite the accomplishment. That's really cool. I think I love like the entrepreneurial stuff, so that's really fun that you guys have gotten to do that and build that and watch that grow. So first, I wanted to ask you, for making this kind of decision, is there obviously you're somebody that would be making this kind of decision. Is there anybody else? Does your partner need to be in on this too? Or
he put a lot of trust in me, and so he's like, go ahead, meet with her, and then you can I'll give him the details, but it sounds like he wants to put a lot of it on me at this point.
Okay, awesome. I just thought I'd check, and then I just wanted to see if it'd be all right with you. I would just have some questions I wanted to ask to kind of get a feel for where you guys are at and what you're looking for to see how we could best meet your needs.
Sounds great.
Okay. So first I wanted to know, you initially contacted us, and I just wanted to know what your reasoning was behind that, why you reached out to us.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it's because, so I'm over the sales force, and obviously with wanting to grow and expand, it puts a lot of pressure on kind of like where I'm at, and we've been successful with the systems we've got, and I just feel that they're pretty basic right now. And so we saw you guys after we were doing some research, and decided, reaching out to you would be in our benefit.
Okay.
To kind of see what you have to offer and see where we can go from here.
Okay. So then I guess a follow-up question to that would be, with the sales force that you've been over, what difficulties have you had with your current systems then?
Yeah, so like I said, it's pretty basic. I think a lot of it's manually done. It's like we have a lot of connections through not only our online, but also we get source leads.
Okay.
And so like when we get a source lead, like that's all manually entered.
Okay.
And so we have to go ahead, like how our sales reps go in, enter it in our computer, and me trying to track that, it can be kind of a little bit difficult sometimes, kind of seeing where they're at with their sales and like how we're expanding. And so that's kind of one of the big reasons is we wanted to find something a little bit more efficient.
Efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then, what other areas? So you're wanting to work on the efficiency, and what areas does that affect, I guess?
Yeah. So a lot of it's like I said, like the sales reps, like
Mhm.
with me being in charge, like it would be really nice to be able to understand like where they're at, what they're doing, and like how we can improve as a company. And so
Mhm.
like being able to like see where they're at with a certain customer, that's something that we can't currently do because it's like we either have it automatically a referral from like somebody putting in their business like off our
Uh-huh.
website, and it goes in and they like our sales reps go ahead and contact them, um, or like the sales rep are just reaching out doing their things, cold calling, and we're just not able to really get the contact we need.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to like figure out how I can better oversee all the things going on within the sales team. That way we can see a little bit more growth in that aspect, um, as well as like seeing the opportunities to like find new dealers and whatnot.
Okay. So, um, tell me more about finding new dealers.
Yeah, so we're looking like the expansions.
Mhm.
We're kind of looking at a franchise an aspect.
Okay.
So like
Cool.
new dealers mean like just people to take on our business model and implement it throughout the
That's
United
exciting.
States. Yeah, and so
That's
it's really exciting. It's just making sure we're finding the right dealers, right people to fit it and everything.
Mhm.
And so reaching out to it's kind of the hard part. It's like being like, all right, who's gonna fit this mold? Like, who are you gonna be able to reach out to
Mhm.
and get them to do it? You know?
Have you been doing anything currently or in the past to help you find those potential dealers or potential
Mhm.
customers? Kind of what they're
Yeah,
looking
you
at.
know, we've tried marketing a little bit,
Okay.
and it's like we've got a decent customer base built up, and our marketing efforts have been pretty decent. And making a link between the marketing and our sales force is kind of something that we need some help on, I guess.
Okay.
Uh, it's not super strong at the moment.
Okay. Um, and then how, I guess, how have you been tracking your sales information that you're getting, and sales progress? How's that been tracked in the past?
Yeah, so we've just got like basically a Google Sheets,
Okay.
and so we go ahead like the online submissions are automatically updated into this,
Mhm.
but then the sources that I talked about earlier are lead creations. Those are manually entered, as well as like their phone numbers, their names, and everything by our
Mhm.
sales reps. And so it's like it's pretty basic, not a whole lot of tracking with it.
Okay.
So that's kind of a
Okay.
hard spot for
Pretty
us.
basic tracking then
Hmm.
right now. Okay. I understand that. Okay. Um, so a few other questions for you. So, jumping into kind of what you've been talking about with efficiency
Hmm.
and how things are being run right now, have you noticed that taking additional time for your employees?
You know that could be very well like something that's happening. Like I said, it's hard to track exactly with progress what they're doing, and so looking
Okay.
at how much time they're actually taking with entering in the stuff, that that can be something that I don't have access to right now,
Okay.
and so maybe it's something taking more time than I think.
Okay. And I mean, if let's see. So, I guess have your employees like expressed any frustrations with using this current system? Where it's at now?
You know, manually entering
Yeah.
that can be frustrating,
Okay.
especially if like something gets entered wrong and they end up calling the wrong phone,
Okay.
contacting the wrong person. I imagine that's a big frustration for them.
Okay, so you guys have noticed some error issues like with data and
Yeah, every once
things
in a
like
while,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And with that, how is that affecting the performance of your sales?
Well, sometimes it takes longer to do a sale
Okay.
because getting in contact with that person again is
Uh-huh.
we have to track down how we got the lead and um, then figure out, like, all right, let's make sure we get this typed in right this time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it takes quite a bit more time
Okay.
than making it exactly right on.
Yeah, than being for sure about what it's going
Yeah.
on. And would you say? I mean, I would assume, if there are those errors happening, have you noticed it causing a loss of morale at all with your sales team?
They're probably not as motivated in some ways, because like sometimes, like it's really good feeling when you get a sale and you're like moving forward, progressing. Sometimes backtracking. I guess looking at some of them, they have had some setbacks, and it takes them a little bit to rebound, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I know when I'm working with people I work with too, like when you're in the zone, and you like to kind of focus on that. So that makes sense. And then I guess with a loss of motivation, has that led to any loss in sales, do you think?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, if they're not calling quite as quick because they're not as motivated. I'm just kind of thinking of what I was like when I started selling for the company, like, because I mean we didn't have employees way back then. Yeah, that kind of deterred me from wanting to call and be excited about it.
Yeah. So there might be something going on there. And are you what was I gonna say? So and I guess, so you mentioned how customers, or how people interested, they felt something online, right? And that comes to your Google Doc, your Google Sheets. Have you guys been able to contact those customers efficiently, or have any of them been kind of forgotten, if that makes sense?
I like to think they're taken care of. That's one of the things that's kind of lacking, is like my communication with my sales force, and so kind of seeing the progress of all that. That's definitely a possibility. Like maybe it's forgotten. That's where I like to improve for sure.
So how does that make you feel? Being overseeing this sales force and not being able to know where everyone's at and what's going on as well.
Yeah.
Is that frustrating?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, obviously you want to like help your business grow. Like that's kind of my big side of it. It's like my business partner oversees a lot of like the material items and kind of like where the business is at, like with building stuff, and mine with the selling aspect. It puts a lot of weight, I guess you'd say.
Is that taking more time out of your day to focus on that, or what would you say the stress is with that?
I mean, in some ways, because like I would have to contact individuals instead of just looking at like a spreadsheet or something.
Okay.
And so, I imagine it takes a little bit more time doing individual contacts and all that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. So, and something else you mentioned too. So, you said you're wanting to link marketing into Salesforce better. Have you seen? I guess what have been the effects of that not being well linked?
I think so. Like I said, we get the lead creations, and so if our marketing's not like as geared towards like getting the leads, people coming to us, like it puts probably a little bit more stress on my sales team. So it's like they're having to do more of the work rather than having the marketing do its job.
Okay. And I mean, with taking on that extra load, how does that affect your team as a whole?
Well, it sounds like I'm getting less sales than I could be. So, I mean, which means less money, less payoff.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it sounds like you guys have been doing good, but you don't want to see sales go down. So
yeah,
that's important. Okay. This is good to know. This kind of helps me see more of how we can make this work. And one last question. Have you noticed a lack of, so with not being able to track as well your sales reps' progress? Have you noticed anything with that? Any effects of that?
Well, I mean, obviously some time lost because I'm trying to reach out to them
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to understand like where they're at. I mean, I could be focusing on like other things like the marketing potentially better instead of like trying to crack down on the sales team.
Okay. Okay. Well then, so let's say you were able to find a system that organized things well and made it more efficient and easier to track. How would that affect the efficiency of your team?
Um, well, that make me feel more organized for
Uh-huh.
sure, and make it so um, we're able to have more of a direction. It sounds like.
Uh-huh.
Because right now it kind of feels like we're kind of going all over the place. Um, so I mean, looking at it, it sounds like it could be a great benefit, like helping us understand, like me keeping track of like where they're at, and, like the progress, not falling through the cracks,
Mm-hmm.
like you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And do you see that affecting and benefiting your sales?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say because like if we're losing customers, we're losing money, and
Yeah.
we're losing opportunity for growth. I mean,
Uh-huh.
because like every new customer is making it so that we're having the revenues and the net income to then go ahead and like expand
Yeah.
um,
And
more rapidly. So
which is your goal, right? And then, I mean, if you're able to kind of fix this issue, do you think this will allow you to have more time to do those things that you want to do with the company, like grow and tackle those other projects I'm sure you have?
yeah, I do have a backload of projects. Yeah, I definitely give it more time. Wouldn't have to be contacting individuals nearly as much. I mean, obviously those who are maybe having struggles, I could be contacting them on kind of fixing those problems, I guess, instead of just kind of seeing where everyone's at individually. Just focus on the ones that need the push or the help or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that sounds great. Well, I would love to tell you more about the solution that we have and some things with that the end. That was a really bad way to close this. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Have fun, brother Megan.
Yeah. Anyways. Moving on.
Okay. So, back over here. Okay. 17 minutes. All right. So, let me pull my questions up. Yeah, so. Okay. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Your smart home automation.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Okay.
All of a sudden, got a frog in my throat. But we're good. Okay. So, Ashley, it's nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to finally meet the person behind the phone.
That's me.
Right on. Well, just kind of like wanted to get a little background about you, like how long you've worked for the smart home automation.
Oh wow, I've been here for about 10 years. I've been here for a while.
Yeah, that sounds like. What do you do exactly with the company?
So currently I'm the CFO.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So been in the company for a while and now on the finance team CFO. So.
Right on. Did you start out kind of like an underdog or like?
Yeah, I started on the finance team, but in other areas, and then kind of worked my way to this spot.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's probably been quite the journey.
Yeah, it's been a journey. Good one.
Hey, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so, have you always been stationed here, like in Rexburg area, or?
I've moved around a little bit, but I've been here for a few years.
A few years? Okay. Yeah. Which one's been your favorite?
I really liked Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, warmer weather.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the mountains here in Rexburg, so.
Okay.
Or around Rexburg, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine it'd be a beautiful place to hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
It is.
Right on. Well, so just kind of getting a little bit more into what we're here for today. When we talked, you talked about kind of looking at a new fleet potentially. Can you just kind of give me the background on what your company uses the fleet for?
Yeah, so I mean, we're a home automation security
Mhm.
services what we offer, and so we have our fleet going out to make these different calls to homes all over. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you kind of
service
use
vehicles. Yeah.
all over
Mhm.
vehicles.
Mhm.
That's really cool. And what type of vehicles do you guys typically use?
You mainly use vans and pickups.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably having to haul equipment,
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that's mainly what we use.
Well, right on. Well, so kind of getting into everything. I don't want to like penetrate you and like talk about a ton of different questions or ask you about shit questions, but I just kind of want to get a feel for like what your situation is and kind of how we can best help and serve you guys.
All right.
And going from there, I know that you're the CFO and everything. Is there anyone else that has a say as well in what we're doing?
I will probably be consulting some people on this, but I'll make the final decision.
Okay, it
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, you're the CFO. You're the one with the money bags and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Well, right on. So in that case, then like we can go ahead and just kind of get going.
Okay.
And if like you have any questions, you can ask me.
All right.
But so you talked about like how you have trucks and like SUVs mostly, I guess, or vans.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else like I guess what are the benefits to those for your companies? Our company.
To having those vehicles.
Yeah.
They allow us to, like you said, bring equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And they're durable for all the travel that we do.
Okay. You guys like service just like right around Rexburg, or like how far do you guys go?
No, so our company's pretty big. So we are actually in 15 different states, and so I mean, cars don't necessarily drive to all 15 states, but we have
locations within.
Fleets in every state, and so that we're in. So
okay.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. And so you kind of oversee the whole fleet
Mm-hmm.
within all those 15 states.
Yeah.
Dang. That's really impressive. So,
it's big. Yep, it's grown a lot.
Dang. So with you covering like all states, are you generally the person that's in charge of getting the fleet together and like kind of purchasing all the cars and everything?
I am involved with purchasing, yeah. So we've been getting a lot of requests for upgrades or repairs and things, and that comes back to me, yeah.
Dang. Okay. So you don't necessarily go and do all the research and everything?
No, more like what repairs need to be done. They just send that to me for approval and things like that.
Okay. That's kind of nice. I mean, that takes a lot of stress off you. It doesn't like make you have to be like, oh man, what's under the hood this time?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have like a whole team devoted to like finding these fleets and like doing all the repairs?
There's a few people I work with on this. A few people, mainly the people that I work with are mainly the different people over the fleets at the different locations. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So that's who I keep in touch with about that issue.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, being over everything, like overseeing it and like kind of doing your hand in each pocket, it's kind of hard to know exactly how many vehicles and all that.
Yeah. So they kind of keep me updated there.
That's really nice. With looking at your vehicles, are you guys purchasing all your cars? Are you renting them currently?
We have all the cars we have right now have been purchased. That's where we're at currently.
Okay. And how many cars do you have, like, on, like, roughly estimated?
Currently, we have about 200.
About 200? Okay, so quite a large fleet there.
Yeah.
Dang. That's really cool. And is it, like, is it more vans or more trucks, or just kind of like a mix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a healthy mix.
No, that makes sense. Sorry, I'm taking notes just so I can remember everything.
Yeah, that's great.
Sometimes I forget, and
I
want to make sure I'm making good notes.
I'll just bring my notebook.
Help you guys the best. So if I go quiet for a second, that's probably why.
Yeah, I know you're
just want to make sure I'm getting the good details down for you. But so looking at your mix and everything, do you talked about a lot of maintenance calls. Like, how often do you think you get maintenance?
Oh gosh, it's been happening a lot more frequently now. I don't know how many, but I mean, we do have some vehicles that are it's getting close to where we need to replace them anyways, and so we get more maintenance calls on those.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
How long do you guys often like go through a car? Like how long does it take?
That's a good question. I think we try to hold on to them as long as we can. I guess it just depends on when we got them, how many miles they had when we first got them. So, for newer vehicles, we like to keep them for several years, as long as we can, as long as they're running well.
Yeah, I mean you want to be making sure that it's safe, like for your employees, like because you don't want to like have anything blow up on them. That would be really sad, you know.
That'd be really bad for business.
Yeah, seriously. So when you guys replace them, do you guys normally do like big bulk order, or is it kind of like as needed?
It's just more as needed.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. In the past, it's been more as needed, I guess I should say. But we're really wanting to find a better way to manage this system.
Yeah. What do you guys currently do to kind of manage and oversee your vehicles?
I'm doing a lot of it right now, and so I'm working a lot with people that are over their small fleets in other locations. But I've been spending a lot of time with that lately.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like it's putting a little bit more stress on your job than normal.
Yeah, it has been putting a little bit more stress on my job.
Yeah, I mean, being the CFO, you have a big plate and a lot of stuff on that plate.
That's for sure.
So maybe adding a few more is a little bit topping it off. So
yeah,
it's not adding a dessert; it's like adding another full course meal for you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good metaphor.
Thanks. But okay, so you talk about maintenance and talk about like potentially needing new cars. Do you guys typically buy new or used cars?
We typically buy. We've done a little bit of both, but it's nice if we can get cars that have been a little bit used, but they're like in really good condition. We want our cars to be really durable and be able to last long, so that's really important to us. But we also we like opportunities to save money in the fleet program. So if there's a good deal on a car like that has been used a little bit, we would go for that.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you talked about using it for a couple of years, and like you don't want something that's gonna like you're gonna get it, and then all of a sudden like within a year it just breaks down. And you're like, oh shoot, I need to get a new car, right?
Yeah.
And so, looking at your systems, like sorry, going back to there again. What type of things do you have to keep track of, like your maintenance? Like, is there logs or?
Not necessarily. They just contact me, send me an email with what they need that month.
Okay. So is it like a monthly contact that they're making out to?
I guess it just depends on the needs of the location.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say it makes sense if they're breaking down a little bit more frequently at another. It's like, hey, we need another car now. Okay. How long does it normally take you guys to get a new car?
It is a little bit of a process because we have to, do some research and find what car we want to get. Longer than I would like it to.
Yeah. Okay. And what does that put some of your like drivers out of business for like some time, or?
With some of our cars breaking down, I mean, not a ton of them breaking down, just big maintenance issues, but with the ones that do break down, that does make it hard on some drivers and servicemen who aren't able to make their stops.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, how does that affect your business? Like, does that make it kind of difficult? Like, I mean, obviously you're not reaching the customers.
Yeah, I think that affects, obviously it affects our ability to like fill an order, like go visit it, make a contact or whatever.
Yeah.
And also, that affects our customers because then they don't get service in a timely manner, which we'd like to provide. So.
Yeah. Is that kind of like one of your business models, is to be timely and
Yeah, we like
and
efficiency.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, that's why you want to use your cars the most you can
Mhm.
and to be able to have good systems and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Um, so do you feel like with the current processes that you have, like with your vehicles, that you're living up to your efficiency?
I don't. Um, really just where we're lacking. So I think where we're lacking with efficiency is
Mhm.
just the setup of this whole fleet program, and
Mhm.
I think that just bleeds into other areas,
Mhm.
making other areas less efficient. But I think the root of it is just with the setup of the fleet program.
Okay. So, like you as the CFO, you have a lot of different responsibilities and everything. How hard is it for you to kind of see like all the statistics, so like how the vehicles are maintained, like why there's being another purchase being done? Like, is there any ways for you guys to, or for you individually to see all that?
I mean, I have one of my people help me organize some things in
Yeah.
Excel and stuff, and track a little bit that way.
Hmm.
But it all is kind of manually entered because we, like I said, we get emails and
Yeah.
we'll keep track of it
Okay.
on the Excel doc. But yeah,
Dang.
it's kind of what we're using.
Yeah. Does that add to your big bulk of emails?
Yes, I always have a full inbox.
Yeah, that's probably taking up a big chunk of your day too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it takes up more time, like I said, than I would like it to.
Okay,
So.
right on. Um, so do your customer, like with all the logs and everything happening, do your customers ever like post anything about like when you're missing their appointments? Is there getting bad ratings or anything like that?
You make a good point. I mean, we do have great customers, but we have gotten a few bad reviews from not being able to make it on time or
Mm-hmm.
it's due to car issues
Oh
generally.
no.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that's no fun. We know that. Like I'm in the business of cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've definitely seen those issues. Um, what looking at all this, like what would it mean to you, like your company, if you didn't have to worry about like having a broken down car always, or having to wait days to get a replacement?
That would be very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice to not have to just even worry about that.
Mhm.
Then we could focus on, actually making those contacts and reaching out to those customers and
Mhm.
getting the jobs done, and we won't have to worry about fixing cars or getting new cars in.
Yeah. Would it save you a lot of time?
Yeah, I think it would save me some time and some worry.
Some worry.
Yeah.
Oh no. So it creates a little bit of stress for you.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. And imagine if you're able to just look at it, that might help out too, right?
Just to be able to see that, see what's going on, I would like to still be able to do that. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, I imagine that your company has some like driving like restrictions and like kind of guidelines for your drivers. Um, does like do you know like do you have a way of like tracking that on like if people are living up to it or
No.
no?
No, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, their managers, if they get any complaints type thing, but really
Mhm.
other than that, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna check that.
And do you think that if like with those logs, like does it present like more wear and tear on your vehicles if like drivers aren't living up to those standards?
I mean, yeah, if they're not driving as safe or um, treating the car in the way they should, that would definitely
Mm-hmm.
add to the wear and tear.
Okay. And so if there was a way to like kind of overcome that, like being able to log it, track it, being, um, I guess, able to then manage it better, how would that affect like your company?
That would be really nice. I feel like that would be good to have a handle on that and good for the managers to see
Mm-hmm.
and be able to have access to.
Okay. Yeah, and so that might, what I guess with allowing your managers to see that, what would that allow them to do?
I think it would just help them be able to create better quality service and make sure that our people are performing at a higher standard
Okay.
with the standard that we would expect them to.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, with your company, it's pretty well known. So having a high standard, like for not only just like your service, like to the individual customer, but maybe just like maybe it's like everyone that sees your customers. Um, it's like uh, something that could be a benefit that I've seen is like speed limits. Like you know how they're like posted everywhere, and sometimes we don't obey them because we're like, oh hey, we got to get to our appointment or whatever. Um, that's even something that's potentially causing risks, right? Um, how would that help if you could even monitor like things like that?
I think that would be good to know. Good to know that our drivers are being safe on the roads and um, following those laws. Because we wouldn't want to get a ticket from the company either. So
What would that do?
it just doesn't look very good if people drive by and smart home automation just got pulled over.
Oh, no. Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like we have a lot of things that can kind of benefit from the sounds of it with your company, and we'd love to kind of go through it with you here. And we're going to start with this aspect and this aspect, and we'll close right there.